Executive Mayor of the City of Tshwane, ambassadors, high commissioners, all distinguished guests who are here today, setšhaba ka moka se se leng gona le hono, re a leboga golo gore le be gona le hono. This is a very important day in the life of our young democracy, Reconciliation Day. His Excellency President Jacob Zuma, it is an honor to invite you this morning to come and address this gathering and also convey a message to our nation. I would like to invite His Excellency, the President, to come and speak to us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director of the Program, the Premier of Gauteng. Honorable Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe, the Chief Justice of the Republic, Honorable Mogoeng Mogoeng, the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Honorable Ms. Mamela, Honorable Ministers, Minister of Arts and Culture, and all ministers present, Honorable Premier of Gauteng, all premiers are present here, deputy ministers, MECs, Mayor of Tshwane and other mayors who are here, members of National Parliament, members of the national legislatures, councillors, traditional leaders and religious leaders, fellow South Africans. The preamble of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa states as follows, and I quote, "We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country, and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversities." The preamble emphasizes forgiveness, reconciliation, and nation building. As we gather today on the summit of the Salva-Cobb Hill to commemorate the National Day of Reconciliation, we are guided by this Constitution, which is the blueprint for the building of a new nation from the ashes of painful past. All three arms of the state, the executive, judiciary, and the legislature, are represented at a high level for the first time at this national ceremony. This demonstrates our collective responsibility of nation building, regardless of the autonomous and independent roles we play and the differences we may have in the implementation of our respective programs. Compatriots, as we commemorate this great occasion, we solemnly remember that our freedom was not free. It came at a high price. Many gallant heroes and heroines whose names are immortalized on the wall of names here in Skhumbuto made the ultimate sacrifice for humanity and freedom. By commemorating this day, we remember the generations of leaders and the ordinary South Africans who came before us. As the preamble states, we salute those who fought to create a free, just, non-racial and non-sexist and democratic society in which people are not judged by the color of their skin, culture, or religion, but are accepted simply because they are South Africans. Compatriots, there is no better place to commemorate this day than here at Freedom Park, which stands as a monument to human dignity, democracy, and national reconciliation. We are a unique nation indeed, for we were able to move beyond deep-seated pain and divisions to build a country. The manner in which this day was marked is a case in point. At the height of apartheid, December 16 was a blunted display of the divisions and pain. But exactly 16 years ago, the newly elected democratic government under the leadership of President Nelson Mandela decided to begin the process of cleansing and healing. Amongst many progressive measures, government declared 16 December as a National Day of Reconciliation. Renaming 16 December in 1995, President Mandela said, and I quote, "The government of national unity chose this day precisely because the past had made December 16 a living symbol of bitter divisions," unquote. In the same year, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission chose 16 December as a starting date for its work of nation healing. The National Day of Reconciliation is crucial in our continued national endeavor to heal the wounds of the past and to build an inclusive society. As government, we are conscious of the fact that reconciliation is a journey and not a one-day-a-year event. It is also a two-way process. For reconciliation to take root, all communities must participate in the journey of wiping away the tears and covering the wounds. reconciliation will succeed if it is a two-way process. We are making progress in moving towards that goal, although a lot more must still be done if we are to succeed. This morning, we officially opened the access road that links the Voortrekker Monument and Freedom Park. Freedom Park and the Voortrekker Monument have signed a memorandum of understanding as a symbol of goodwill between the two institutions. The access road will enable easy access of visitors to both institutions. The initiative symbolizes commitment to reconciliation, social cohesion, and nation-building principles, as well as a willingness to exchange ideas and learn from each other. The gesture indicates progress in the national project of reconciliation. Compatriots, the establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 1995 and the declaration of a special day dedicated to reconciliation was just the beginning of the journey of reconciliation. The journey continues. Part of the important achievements on this journey includes the establishment of the Department of Military Veterans within the defense portfolio. While the veterans of the apartheid defense apparatus were catered for, those who were in the liberation movements remained largely destitute. This department has been given the task of improving the lot of our military veterans, especially former combatants of liberation movements. Another milestone on this journey of reconciliation includes the opening of the Pretoria Central Prison Gallows Monument, where 134 political prisoners were executed. Yesterday, the gallows at CIMAX Correctional Facility, formerly known as Pretoria Central Prison, were reopened as a museum. It was a difficult moment as families visited the horrific killing floor at the prison for the first time and walked the 52 steps that our compatriots took to face the hangman. They were also assisted to find the graves of their loved ones who were buried as paupers by the apartheid state after the executions. There can be no powerful gesture of reconciliation that the reopening and conversion of the gallows into a museum. This will bring much needed closure and healing, not only to the families of those executed, but also to the former guards and warders who looked after condemned prisoners. A story of one of the warders who worked there touches greatly when it tells the story that after the families would have visited the condemned prisoners, they will both cry, and he would have the task to go to the cell and lock the one who is waiting to be executed. And he would go to a quiet place and cry too. We have directed the Department of Correctional Services to do all possible to assist the warders who worked at the gallows to find closure as well to that experience. Fellow South Africans, the most fundamental steps taken towards full reconciliation is the extension of basic services and the improvement of the quality of life of all, especially those who suffered profoundly under apartheid, the black majority. The ongoing provision of housing, water, electricity, sanitation, roads, and other services in areas that were deliberately excluded from development by the apartheid regime is a major contribution to the national process of healing. Further, we have taken decisive measures to improve the quality of education and health services to all our people. Education in particular was used as an instrument of subjugation. Therefore, the more we invest in education and skills development, we would be reversing the legacy of apartheid and colonial oppression. And we will be closing the societal gap that was created. Another key project with regards to promoting national reconciliation and social cohesion is the establishment of integrated human settlements across racial divides. As part of reconciliation, we are undoing the legacy of the Group Areas Act influx control laws and other apartheid laws. One such new settlement is the Chief Mogale Gardens in Kagiso, in Mogale City local municipality. The artificial boundaries have been removed. Black and white South Africans live together in friendship, social harmony, and a sense of a community. Compatriots, we know that while we have extended services and improved the lives of our people considerably since 1994, many still live in poverty, inequality, and unemployment stubbornly remain. To alleviate poverty, government instituted a highly successful and progressive social security system in our country. More than 15 million South Africans receive social grants 10 million of whom are orphans and vulnerable children. Social grants are the main source of income for many poor households. And in order to deal adequately with unemployment, poverty, and inequality, we are steadily transforming the economy to promote inclusive growth and economic emancipation. The majority in our country must participate meaningfully in the economy. Therefore, we are striving for inclusive growth which creates decent work. To achieve inclusive growth, we have introduced programs such as broad-based Black economic empowerment and affirmative action. These are powerful tools of building social cohesion and national reconciliation. By 2007, the Black middle class had grown to more than 2.7 million. It is a small number, but still indicates progress that is being made to open up opportunities that were previously the preserve of a few. All of us, Black and white, must join hands to transform our economy into one that is not only owned, controlled, and managed by the minority, but one in which the majority plays a meaningful and leading role. In that way, we would have moved many steps forward to achieve national reconciliation and to lay the foundation for sustainable economic development. Compatriots, broadly speaking, government has identified job creation, education, health, the fight against crime and corruption, and comprehensive rural development as priorities in order to reverse the legacy of colonial oppression and apartheid. Each of these priorities is aimed at addressing the economic and social inequalities and pave way for true national reconciliation. The achievement of these priorities is a national responsibility of not only government, but all South Africans and all sectors of society. We have to put our differences aside for the common good of our country. Uplifting our communities and developing our country is our responsibility, all of us. The journey towards national reconciliation still continues and awaits us all. The road is long and hard because the colonial oppression and apartheid we lived through also took centuries. Let us move forward together so that eventually we can stand together as true equals when the gap between rich and poor has been significantly reduced, when the quality of life has improved for all our people, and when we can all say with pride that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, Black and white. Today, let us recommit ourselves to continue with this journey. There can be no shortcuts, and there will continue to be obstacles along the way. However, if we remain united on the ultimate goal, we will together build a South Africa that is truly free, non-racial, united, prosperous, and indeed a wonderful democratic country. On behalf of government and also on behalf of the other two arms of the state, the judiciary and the legislature, which are represented at a high level here today, I wish all South Africans a meaningful National Day of Reconciliation. And I thank you.
Let's give the President another round of applause for the message. Thank you very much, His Excellency President Jacob Zuma. We're going to have a performance by the Atie Kafie Cultural Group. I'm going to invite them to the stage for a short performance. Atie Kafie.
President Jacob Zuma, of course, giving that speech there, the message to the nation, lots of points we can pick up on. Your overall take, Zamekaya?
Well, I don't think there is much. My overall sense is that most of the issues that he raised regarding service delivery belong to the state of the nation. But I think the point that he made was about this journey which should be traveled by all South Africans. And I think it was a bit ambiguous when you talk about the two-way process. I thought he lost an opportunity of confronting the real problem. My problem is that not all South Africans embrace this day. You will find many South Africans in the malls, in the game reserves and all that stuff. So I thought maybe he was going to be hard on South Africans and really begin to unpack the nature of the problem. And indeed, this journey should be traveled by all South Africans, as I indicated earlier on, that we have a common history and the fact that we are opening the gallows. To me, it's also a very, very important step, but I think South Africans of all race should embrace this day. But really, I don't think there isn't much that we can take.
Well, I mean, it's an important point I think you're making because, I mean, in June this year, for example, the National Planning Commission's diagnostic report said that South Africa remains a society that's divided and the major dividing line is still race.
Yes, other than that, I think we still have to confront economic bondage. The fact that you still have the two nations speaks for itself, and for as long as we are not clear in terms of policy prescriptions that we are taking forward, but those are some of the issues. The question of race, I think, you remember the debates in the early 70s, the question of race and class, those are interrelated, but central to that, I think, is the resolution of these economic differences, salary, inequalities, unequal distribution of wealth. So fundamentally, I think we have to confront those issues and make sure that the policies that we put in place address those issues specifically. So we can't talk about these things very, very superficially.
Well, I mean, the same National Planning Commission states that, I mean, yes, the obvious that South Africa remains deeply divided and characterized by, as you say, inequality and inequity. But they also say that these divisions are ascribed to economic underperformance and deeply entrenched patterns of historic privilege and deprivation. So in other words, we are aware, we know exactly what is wrong and why status quo continues. In other words, we continue to be undivided. But then it's a question of how soon are we acting fast enough?
Well,
in dealing with those challenges.
We are talking about the legacy of more than 300 years.
Which the president also acknowledges in his speech.
Yes, and I think the policy, for instance, if you listen to the ANC Youth League's program, Economic Freedom in Our Lifetime, I think they are forcing the state to begin to address those issues faster. And, well, of course, if you go back 17 years from now, black economic empowerment, affirmative action, and other policies. But I think we need to dislodge the political economy of apartheid. Unequal distribution of wealth is central. I don't want to venture into the discussion whether the nationalization of banks or mines will take us to that objective. But I think we really, really need to make sure that we give land to the farmers, we empower those poor peasants in the rural areas, we address the question of skills. But there are certain things within our reach as government, as the state and civil society that we can do, and then later begin to address those complex issues and begin to invite maybe the big companies in the private sector like the mining industry to say, what role are you playing? So there's a long way that we have to go, I must be honest.
How much longer, though, do you think it'll take, or it must take, for South Africans to get to that level where they can say, yes, indeed, we are able to make a lot more progress? Because, see, year in and year out, we get more or less the same message, that we've come a long way, we've made some inroads, but we've just not worked hard enough, or we're not quite where in other words, where will we get to a point where we are satisfied that there is a great deal of movement?
I think we have to fundamentally restructure the economy. All the things that we're talking about, for instance, affirmative action, black economic empowerment, those initiatives were largely driven by the state. We still have to see the role of the private sector in the restructuring of the economy. To what extent are they meeting government halfway in supporting these initiatives? Because when you talk about economic growth or job creation, it is the responsibility of the private sector to create that employment. The state can only create an enabling environment. And my difficulty here is that the private sector is a bit reluctant. They are quick to point that, and really, for as long as we don't have the capital which is supporting the state in its developmental objectives, then we are likely to have the status quo for the next 300 years. During the apartheid, for instance, you could see the interrelationship or interdependence between the state and capital. But unfortunately, post-1994, that interdependency is not there.
It's not quite where we would want it to be. Well, hang on to those thoughts. Our analyst for this morning, Zamikhaya Maseti. Of course, before we proceed with our program, let's take a brief look. Let's take you back at what it is exactly, what is it about Reconciliation Day? What is this day meant to do? What is it all about? Here's an insert by Crystal Alderson.
A realistic and sobering look at race relations in the country. 3,500 people were interviewed, and almost 1 in 4 never mix with other race groups.
2011 has not been our greatest year since 1994. In fact, it's probably been one of our worst, given the number of events that have happened on the national landscape, including the death of Mr. Tatiane in the Free State. The polarizing racial debates around the ANC Youth League.
The survey also looked at how citizens perceive government, violent protests, employment equity and the wealth gap. Opinion is also divided over renaming, especially when costly for the state. Many believe the gap between the rich and the poor is divisive. Majority of people believe that national reconciliation is necessary. According to the survey, just under half of South Africans believe that service delivery protests are justifiable to air their grievances.
We found that confidence is much lower in local government than in other spheres. And we've also seen, of course, around the country in the past year, maybe not as many protests as in previous years, but they are becoming increasingly violent. So we feel there's definitely a need to boost citizen confidence.
The Institute says 59% of South Africans feel the country has made progress in reconciliation since 1994, and just under half feel the TRC succeeded in bringing about reconciliation.
A large section of the population seems to want to integrate, but don't have the opportunity to do so, and therefore desire greater integration and greater reconciliation. Also, when one sees how quickly the national opinion in South Africa polarizes, around the singing of historic songs, for example, and so on, it's just a very stark reminder that we're not over some of our historical divisions completely, and that these things remain latent in society. It remains under the surface.
Majority of people are concerned that the gap between the rich and the poor is the biggest contributor to poor social cohesion, followed by political party membership and race. The survey also found that about half of South Africans believe they should be allowed to sing historic freedom songs in public. Crystal Alderson, SABC News, Cape Town.
Well, that insert, of course, prepared by Crystal Alderson and giving us a very quick, well, from us here in the studio at the SABC, from myself, Vuyo Mvoko, and of course our analyst, whom we have to thank for the time he gave us. We're going to say goodbye. Before we cross over to Mzwandile Mbeja, who is at Freedom Park, though, I'd like to read you something from one of the people who who did a lot of work around reconciliation, leading the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and taking us a parent, who says that true forgiveness deals with the past, all of the past, to make sure that the future is possible. Desmond Tutu in his book, No Future Without Forgiveness. And from all of us here at Auckland Park, it's over to Mzwandile Mbeja, and please do have a beautiful Reconciliation Day.
Thank you very much, Vuyo. As you have heard earlier, the President saying this issue of reconciliation is a journey. It's not a one-day event, talking about the military veterans department having been established to honor those really who made a huge sacrifice in this country. But of course, we have those who were born after this independence or after this freedom of ours. And they have come here as well to come and celebrate this day. With me is Amathe Mbekeni, who was born in 1996. She will share her thoughts about this day. Amathe, what do you think of this day?
Personally, I think this is an opportunity as youngsters to grow and to learn, so that in the future we can make South Africa an economy, a better economy. Sorry.
But do you think young people are interested in this day, for example, reconciliation, what is happening in the country?
I think youngsters these days are more into the westernized culture and tend to forget our roots, where we come from. But personally, I'm really interested in this, but we don't...
What makes you interested as a young person?
Oh, my father, well, he went to exile. But then this is very interesting because I think, South Africa can be a better economy. And I'm really inspired by Nelson Mandela, yeah.
What is your message to other youngsters out there?
My message to other youngsters is, go reach for your dreams, do anything, yeah.
As a country, I think you haven't experienced all these things that perhaps the President was speaking about. I'm sure you're mingling with all other races freely. So do you see that spirit among you as youngsters growing, that at some point will be one nation, forgetting about race and color?
Yes. At school, everyone is together. We don't even realize it, we black, white, but everyone's happy. We all have fun together.
Thank you very much, Amathe.
Thank you.
There you have it, Amathe, who is actually very interested. So basically confounding this theory that young people are not interested in things that perhaps are happening in the country. Let me take this opportunity to hand back to the studio. Vuyo?
You love that wonderful just been cleaned fragrance that makes the air in your home delicate and fresh. It's just a pity that it doesn't last. But not anymore, thanks to Airwick Freshmatic. It's the automatic spray that continuously releases beautiful fragrances throughout the night and day. So now that just been cleaned fragrance will always be in the air, and everybody will know your home is something special. Airwick Freshmatic. Airwick, it's good to be home.
Come here, you dirty
Oh no, here we go again.
What was that all about?
All hell breaks loose every time he has to take a bath. And then I have to deal with my daughter's complaints about how soap dries her skin. I wish there was a better way to bath.
There is. New Dettol Body Wash has a pH-balanced formula and trusted Dettol ingredients to keep your family's skin clean, moisturized and protected from germs. Its improved range of fragrances and rich lather puts the fun back into bathing. Dettol. Be 100% sure.
One Christmas, Dad said to Mom, "You're a woman, not a dishwasher," and he washed the dishes himself. Then Dad realized the best way to wash dishes. Let the dishwasher and Finish do the job. Now every day is a holiday.
You too can make every day a holiday. Get a Kelvinator dishwasher at an amazing price of 1,999 Rand or less. Available at leading retailers. Finish, the diamond standard.
Dettol believes a healthy family is a happy family. That's why Dettol does more with our new stainless steel look no-touch hand wash system. It fits any decor and automatically dispenses the perfect amount of soap and eliminates 99.9% of germs, so you'll never have to touch a soggy soap again. With the Dettol no-touch hand wash system, healthy hands are automatic all over the home. Now in 2 new moisturizing variants, aloe vera and grapefruit. Dettol, be 100% sure.
This card entitles you to enforce your legal rights. From 120 Rand per month, it's about making legal services available to all South Africans. Just SMS rights to 31765 and someone will call you back to explain all the benefits, terms and conditions. Thank you. Cover includes civil, criminal and labor-related matters. Whatever your problem, qualified legal advisors are available to help you 24 hours a day. SMS rights to 31765. SMS now.
When you're having a long, hard day and you're not at your freshest, it can somehow all go wrong. That's when you wish you could just start all over again. With new Dettol Fresh, you can. It contains Dettol's trusted germ protection and is infused with the invigorating power of citrus fragrances to do more than just wake up your skin. New Dettol Fresh. Start fresh and stay fresh every day. Dettol. Be 100% sure.
Nasty stains like these carry germs, which can multiply and spread across your family's laundry. But washing powder alone won't get rid of all stains. That's why you need new Vanish Extra Hygiene. Just add 1 scoop to your washing powder. The oxygen power in Vanish removes tough stains, and the hygiene agents kill 99.9% of germs.
That's why I use Vanish Extra Hygiene.
Vanish Extra Hygiene. Trust Pink. Forget stains and germs. Also try Vanish Pre-Wash with 2 times power against stains.
Dumela motswadi mo hae, nna ke Phumuwa Mashego ke a amoela mo lenanehong la kajeno la Ratanang the Parenting Club. Teenage pregnancy ke bothata bo se botletseng mo nageng ya rona. And for batswadi ba bangata le bona bana bao ba imileng ba ikutlwa nkare bokamoso ba bona bo fedile ebileng ba ka sa kgone hore ba phele maphelo a ne ba lora ka bona. Nandi o dulang le ausi wa hae ba re qoqetse ka experience ya bona. A re ba bone.
uNandi ungumuntu othule. But ngoku uye disappoint ekuhambeni kwexesha because uye wenza into azenzayo wamitha and manje umuntu ongenamama ongenatata. Nandi ngosister wakhe ungoyisithathu emva kwami kunomfana ongilamayo. So iyanhlukumeza kakhulu into ayewayenza uNandi yokumitha because asinamphambili siphelele ngoba sinalo nekhaya besihlala kulo mama ekhaya.
Angifuni umuntu engiswelayo ngoba ngiyashesha ukukwata and angithandi nje ukusukelile.
Like uNandi into ayenzileyo apha ekumitheni kwakhe engakhandi ithande. Ndike ndahlala naye manje ndibona uqala iWorld Cup last year ngo2010. Nandi ngicela uhambe uyopreventa because yabona isituation ukuthi njani.
Ngiyashesha ukukwata andisandla sami sifast.
Azange ayoprevent uNandi. Ngaze ngagula ngabulawa nayi stress ngilala esibhedlela ngibuya uNandi engamameli engafuna ukumizwa.
La vele bengekho right.
Kuthe ngoNovember ngazothola ukuthi uNandi pregnant. Nandi mithi sobani washo ukuthi misomunye umfana osuka from Maputo.
Bese ngitshintshile nje. Into engizenzayo bese ngingasafani nalesi bengisenze ekuqaleni.
Mangizwe ukuthi upregnant ngike ngamxosha uNandi.
Besixabene sinosisi wami. Okay ngahamba ngohlala nobhuti wami 16. Wanishaya ubhuti wami. Wanishaya.
Amaphupho benginawo bengizitshela ukuthi uNandi njengoba singena mama uzofunda uNandi bese mangikhuluma naye bengikhuluma naye athi hayi sisi ngizopasa u10 ngeke ngibe pregnant nje the way abantu basho ngakhona ukuthi ngizoba preg ngekafika isikhathi ngibe pregnant mangapasa u10 ngadlula ngayi college ngizofunda ngikhona ukusebenzela abantwana abasekhaya ngibafundise nangibakhulise akwenzekanga njalo disappointed.
Ngiyasithanda nje into engizenzayo.
Khona nje usafunda u-grade 8 grade 11 grade 10
ngeke ngikhona nje uba kubhekana nencwadi zesikole.
Angeke ndithi bhuti ufundile because uNandi ungulomuntu othule ongeke umunderstand bangumuntu onjani ngoba qala ukuthi uyeva mokhuluma naye solo besimshaya no brother wami simshaya sithi kusasa ngeke kusasa uvuka ye lapho boyfriend sanozigcine seyikhupha amagama amabi boyfriend kaNandi ithi ulike makalale noNandi angazolela kanjani ayengu brother wakhe okay wabona ene manje sekamoshile lapho seka pregnant
njengoba athi angimameli.
Abangani bakhe ngenamkhuza kubo baninzi nomngani wakho nabantwana so bengafuna ukungimamela bemela abangani bakhe into bithethwa ndim bengayithathi thatha into zechomi zakhe. Into azokutshela yona Nandi uma ngabe ungatshintshi mntaka mama ayi mina ngizokuhlamba because nami angizubulawa istress ngendaba yakho nami nabantwana bamfuna bakhulisa. Mongaphinda wenze lokho engukhuza kuko uyaphuma mina because nami yabona le ndawo engihlala kuyincane kanjani.
Zanele oswanandi oswabile ka nnete ka situation Nandi aifumanang aliko yona ba dumetse hore ke ba yetele ka jeno ho buisana le bona ka taba ena a re lo ba bona. Zanele sizingiyabonga ukuthi usivumele ukuthi size sizoxoxisana nawe uxoxele nje kancane ukuthi kwenzakeleni phakathi kwenu na ukuthi uzizwa kanjani ngesimo lesi uNandi kuso.
Before azoba pregnant ngiqalile nakhulumisana naye last year ngoba bese ngibona inyawo zakhe zingekho right and bese ngimangele vele ngibona amaphetho wakhe awavulwa ngoba abanye banamaphetho abo 3 so la wakhe lokho awakavulwa ngase ngithi uNandi ngicela ukhulule ngambona ukuthi upregnant vele so kunendukhuza ngale ndaba wayibonga use condom awusabi ukuthi uzoba nengculaza. uNandi wayinechiki nje wengezwa noba ukhuluma naye kwangiphatha ka bafuna uqamba noba manje ewe ngiyazama uxola mara angikhoni sisi.
Ngithanda amazwi wakho ukuthi ufuna ukuthi abuyele esikolweni.
Angazi noba uzoqhubeka nesikole meseyidedile ingane. Ngoba umuntu uvela oswafayo isikoleni manje bengithola ukuthi uNandi ngihambile mina ngemsebenzi ngibashiya la